What's up guys, Travis from AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're trying to figure out how to make your 04 to 08 Triton powered F-150 a little bit louder and prouder. Now if you've been looking around for different exhaust systems, and you've seen by now there are a ton of options available, but we're checking out one in particular today, and that's the Installer Series from MBRP. This 3-inch dual exhaust system comes in a very cool split rear exit configuration, and at around the $400 price point guys, this is one of the least expensive dual exhaust systems that you can currently throw on this truck. Now why this system in particular? Well, volume is obviously most important, right? We want to make that motor sound a lot better, and I'm very happy to say the Installer Series does a damn good job of that. As far as actual volume is concerned, I'm going to actually give this thing a healthy 4 out of 5 on my loudness meter, guys. It's a lot louder than other options available, but it's not going to go full tilt 5 out of 5. I'd say this is right on the limit of what you'd be comfortable with if you're happy with some volume inside the cab, but you don't want excessive drone, and maybe you got a daily commute and you don't want to get tired of this thing anytime soon. Now, there's a reason why this system comes in so affordably, and that's for a simple reason. It's made out of aluminized steel. Now, aluminized steel is not stainless steel. This system will show signs of rust and corrosion a little bit quicker than a stainless setup, but I'll actually show you guys a comparison to our factory system in a little bit, which is made out of stainless, by the way, and you'll see over time, either way, you are going to develop some rust and corrosion. But where it counts most, MBRP was nice enough to throw in these really cool slash cut polished tips. Those are made out of stainless steel, and they have a really nice mirror finish on them. So it's safe to say, as long as you clean these off once in a while, maybe throw some wax on them, they'll look good for years to come. Now, there are a couple variations of this system, by the way, guys. If you wanted a more classic kind of hot rod look, they do have a split rear exit configuration, but if you're a fan of the way the factory system exits on this truck right here near the tire, and you just want to mirror that on the other side, then the split side exit configuration is going to be the one you'll want. And I'm also happy to say that this system installs very easily. You might have to make a cut to the provided mid-pipe up there, but that's something you can do in the driveway with a Sawzall and a measuring tape. So for that reason, I'm still going to give the install a pretty modest 2 out of 3 wrenches on my old difficulty meter, and I wager it'll take you about 2 hours in the driveway to get this thing bolted on. Honestly, the hardest part's going to be removing that stubborn old factory system. So again, if you're looking for one of the most affordable dual exhaust upgrades for your Triton powered F-150 and you really want to crank up the volume, but you don't want to go full tilt, you want to kind of find that sweet spot, then the Installer Series is going to be the ticket for you. And if you decide to stick with this one, you can actually come back to this video in just a little bit. I'm going to show you guys all the tools you need to get the job done, and I'm going to walk you through the entire install step by step. All right guys, before we get started, you'll need to grab a standard drive ratchet, a 5/16 Allen key or Allen head socket, a 1/2 inch socket that can be shallow or deep, and you'll need a 9/16 and a 15mm deep socket. Now, optional but very helpful tools, I strongly recommend at least having some spray lubricant as well as a dead blow mallet and a pry bar. And then other optional but helpful tools include a flathead screwdriver, a 10mm socket with an extension, an impact swivel socket, and an impact gun. And also, depending on your cabin bed length, you may have to make a cut to the provided mid-pipe, in which case you will need a cutting tool of some sort with a measuring tape, and you'll obviously want some iPro. All right guys, once you got your tooling set up, you can crawl underneath the truck. What we're going to do first is we're going to disconnect our factory mid-pipe from our wide pipe. It's held in place with this barrel clamp up here, has 2 nuts keeping it tight, so we'll need a 15mm deep socket. Now once we've loosened up this barrel clamp, we're actually going to slide the entire exhaust system out of all its rubber isolators, so we can actually drop the entire system as one piece and pull it out from underneath the truck. It's not that hard, it sounds a little bit confusing, but I'll show you guys in a little bit. All right, once you got that barrel clamp nice and loose, the next thing you want to do is spray down all those rubber isolators securing the exhaust hangers on the frame rails. It's very helpful to have some spray lubricant. I generally recommend PB Blaster or some WD-40. You're going to spray down all 3. There's one in front of the muffler, one directly behind it, and then one on the tailpipe out near the bumper. Make sure you get them soaked nice and well because there's probably a lot of rust and corrosion on there, and it's going to be very helpful to have a pry bar or a dead blow mallet to help break things up. But at any rate, you're going to spray those down, let them soak, then we'll push the entire system out and we can pull it out from underneath the truck. All right guys, once you got all those rubber isolators good and soaked, go ahead and grab a buddy if possible, and you're going to want them to actually support the tailpipe here slash the over axle portion. As they're holding that, you're going to push back on that muffler. Again, helpful to have a pry bar or a dead blow mallet, and you're going to kind of tap it or get some leverage on it to push it out of those rubber isolators. Again, your truck probably has some corrosion on those hangers, so it might be a little bit tight, but once it frees up, it's going to want to fall down really quick, and obviously it's a little heavy, so just take your time. If you're doing this by yourself like me, a good rule of practice is to actually let it fall down a little bit and let the over axle pipe rest on the axle here. Then once that's supported on the axle, you can work your way with the muffler in the mid pipe, angle it all down, and pull it out from underneath the truck. All right guys, if you got the factory exhaust removed, then congratulations, because honestly that's the hardest part of this install. Now when you get the factory exhaust system removed, it's a very good idea to mock up your new MBRP system next to it. That way you can get a better idea of where all that hardware is supposed to go, and it's also going to help give you a little bit of clarity depending on whether or not you need to cut your mid-pipe, which I'll get to in a little bit. But more importantly, I wanted to give you guys a good comparison between the two systems and really point out some of the differences that I like about the new MBRP system. And obviously the big star of the show is their new Installer Series muffler. Guys, this is pretty much a straight through muffler. It's got one primary core going through it with some perforations, but it's not baffled and chambered like our factory one is here. You can obviously see the new muffler is a hell of a lot smaller than the factory one, and that's because the factory one is baffled and chambered. That's great for daily driving, no good for sound. Now, the reason why the Installer Series sounds a lot deeper than the factory setup isn't just the muffler. We're actually upgrading our mid-pipe from 2.5 inches to 3 inches coming off the Y pipe there. That bigger diameter results in a deeper tone. That's what gives you that really good lopey idle. That's what makes that Triton motor sound good. And then obviously on the business end here, we got a massive upgrade over our factory tailpipe here. Ford was not kind enough to throw in any exhaust tips, so MBRP did us a favor. They threw in some really nice slash cut and rolled stainless steel tips. Those are made out of 304 stainless. Those are never going to rust. Now, one of the reasons why this system's so affordable is because the entire setup itself is not made out of stainless steel. Ours is made out of factory grade 409 stainless. This one's going to show signs of rust and corrosion a little bit sooner, guys, but as long as you keep the undercarriage relatively clean and dry, you're not going to have to worry about pinhole leaks, and you shouldn't have to worry about any of the welds cracking on this, because MBRP lets us know that they actually reinforce all the welds with aluminum silica. That's going to be good for that rust and corrosion prevention. Now, even though we're also going from a single side exit here to a split exit, we don't have to do any cutting or modification as far as our hangers go. They do provide us with a new hanger for the driver's side for that new hanger on that tailpipe there, and they also throw in a rubber isolator. All you got to do is bolt it up to a hole that's already located in the frame rail. I'll show you guys that in a little bit. But back to cutting. In the instructions, they do tell you might have to make a cut to that mid-pipe there, guys. Really straightforward. Go ahead and measure a wheelbase, or if you know whether you got a double cab, crew cab, super cab, short bed, long bed, whatever, go ahead and grab that, measure twice, and cut once. This is currently at 44 inches. We have to take this down to 37 inches because we're working with that super cab with that 6.5 foot box. Let's go ahead and we'll head over to our chop saw real quick. We'll get that bolted up, and I'll show you guys how to get the rest of the system installed. All right guys, so when we go to throw the mid-pipe in place, you actually want to remove the factory clamp from the Y-pipe because we're going to be using the provided saddle clamps in the kit. Now when we go to throw this thing in place, we're not actually going to be tightening anything down because this can actually slide back and forth on that Y-pipe. And we want to make sure we get the right amount of length out of this thing even though we cut it some. So we're just going to throw it in place and we'll throw our muffler on there. All right, next we're going to throw our muffler onto our mid-pipe, and in order to secure the two together, you're going to have to grab this hanger and clamp combo, slide it on the inlet of the muffler. Again, we're not going to be tightening any of this stuff down because we actually have to rotate the muffler as we install our tailpipes, and these little guys right here, the outlets, are going to have to change their direction here. So again, do not tighten down the fasteners on this clamp. It's going to make it a lot easier. All right, once you have the muffler in place, you have a decision to make. Do you want to tackle the passenger side tailpipes or the driver's side? And personally, I would recommend doing the driver's side because that's where that next hanger is located. It's going to help support our muffler assembly. It's going to make it a lot easier to line up all the rest of the pipes. Now, when you throw this in place, you have to line up that hanger with that rubber isolator. You also have to line up the tubes so they can get into the muffler. So it's very helpful to spray down that rubber isolator and make it a lot easier to slide this hanger in and out. All All right, now our muffler is secured with that first tailpipe that we threw on for the driver's side. Now we're going to tackle our passenger side tailpipes. They come in two pieces. So first you're going to have to throw the over axle pipe onto the muffler. Then you're going to slide that tailpipe on there. You're also going to line up that hanger with this rubber isolator up here. Now guys, I've done a lot of these systems and I'm going to warn you, this is kind of a pain in the ass trying to get that hanger in here while lining up all the pipes. So there's actually a much easier way to go about it. If you have a 10 mil wrench or a 10 mil socket, easy way to go about it is actually remove this isolator completely, go ahead and push it onto that hanger, and then you can get both of those pipes in place and you can just bolt it back up. It's a lot easier. All right, now that the isolator is removed, we'll throw on our over axle pipe onto that other outlet of the muffler. Make sure you got one of those saddle clamps on there as well. All right guys, now that the over axle pipe's in place, we're going to slide our isolator on here. You want this tab to be on the opposite side of where this hanger is actually welded on the pipe. And again, very helpful to have some spray lubricant. This is a very tight fit. All right, now once you got that isolator on that hanger, we can throw it up on there. Make sure you grab a saddle clamp so you can get the slip fit connection tightened down. All right guys, our passenger side's pretty much all done up. Now we can tackle our driver's side tailpipe before we throw on our exhaust tips. Obviously you have to install a new rubber isolator. They provide one in the kit here. It's going to be oriented like so, so you're going to have this little tip right here kind of facing up towards the frame rail. It's going to kind of smush up against it. Now there are two holes in the frame rail here above the leaf pack. You got a square hole and a little round hole. You got this little speed clip here. You want the threaded part of the speed clip inside the frame. You're going to press this in through that square hole, line the threads up with that round hole, then you're going to zip all this together with the provided bolt and washers. All right, now to tighten down this bolt, you will need a 1/2 inch socket. All right guys, last step here, we're going to throw on this final tailpipe, then we can throw on all of our exhaust tips, line everything up and tighten everything down. Same process as before, make sure you got that final clamp on there so you can get that slip fit connection nice and tight. And again, it's helpful to spray down your isolator / hanger, make it easier to slide all this stuff together. All right guys, last step here is throwing on our exhaust tips before we tighten everything down. Now these have Allen head bolts with a welded nut here on the connection, so you'll need a 5/16 Allen key or Allen head socket when you tighten this stuff down. All right, both of our exhaust tips are zipped on and we've double checked our alignment. We're happy with where everything is sitting. Now we're gonna actually work our way from front to back and tighten down all of our saddle clamps. Now, all the hardware in the kit is SAE, so you'll need a 9/16 deep socket, and it's helpful as you go along after you tighten down each individual clamp to double check your work, make sure nothing's shifted around, and make any adjustments as needed until you get to the very end. All right, so once you got all those clamps tightened down, do yourself a favor, do one final check of all your clearances, make sure nothing's rubbing anywhere, and that'll wrap up this very easy install. And that also wraps up my review of the MBRP 3-inch Installer Series dual exhaust system in the split side exit configuration, fitting your 04 to 08 Triton powered F150. I'm Travis, thanks for watching, and for all things F150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.